Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
Attention, attention, we have a safety and security alert. It has been proven the more you weigh, the harder you are to kidnap. So stay safe and eat more donuts. Here comes Kate Smith and God Bless America, followed by a Patriot with our Pledge of Allegiance. Call in. Good morning. And a good morning to you on a beautiful morning this morning on Wednesday, July the 18th. Zeb Bell, Zeb at the Ranch with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you. If you're getting ready for a road trip, you'd better get in there and see them today at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Also, some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Right now, let's go to the phone line and start the day off right with the Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Go ahead, sir.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Did you hear some horns honking going by your business yesterday?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that takes all the fun out of that.
Well, you're supposed to stop in and say hi.
We were running on a tight schedule, but at least I acknowledged the fact that I was going to say hello.
Well, next time you wave, use all 5 fingers.
Now, I did not do that. Shame on you. You go sit down and have a cup of coffee. All right. See you later. Thank you very much. We're ready to rock and roll and have a good day, and we certainly appreciate your being with us, and we've got all kinds of things to take care of. First and foremost, the weather forecast, brought to you by K&R Rental, 256 South, 600 west of Hayburn, right there on the Burley Paul Highway. For the best of tools and equipment, Roger and the crew. Hello, Roger and the crew over at K&R Rental. They get there early in the morning at 7 a.m., and, man, they serve you all day long. They've got the best of rental tools and equipment for long and short-term rental. You see them today or give them a call. K&R Rental, 678-3122. Here is the weather.
The warm temperatures are going to continue for the rest of this week as this high-pressure system sticks around. Here is your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. Expecting sunny skies for today. Winds out of the southeast, right around 7 miles an hour. High of 95, possible triple digits, especially in the lower elevations of the valley. Tonight, clear skies with a low of 60. Tomorrow, sunny skies, high of 91. Overnight low of 60 as we head on into the weekend. On Friday, sunny skies with a high of 92. Overnight low of 62 for Friday night. Saturday, we do have a 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon. Mostly sunny skies and a high of 90. That's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Appreciate it, Gina. Brought to everybody by K&R Rental at 256 South, 600 west of Hayburn on the Burley Paul Highway. Stop in, give them a call, see them today for what you need. Tools and rental, everything from jackhammers all the way to lawnmowers. I mean, they've got it all. K&R Rental, 678-3122. Oh, hey, listen, fun times. This coming Saturday night, race time. Lawnmower Racing Series. It's going to be at the Minidoka County Fairgrounds, and it starts at 6 p.m. Concessions open at 5:30 p.m. this Saturday night, and sponsored by the Minidoka County Fairgrounds. Don't you miss it. They're going to have the World Championship Lawnmower Racing Series, and it's going to be this Saturday night, July the 21st. And I guarantee you they're going to have fun over at the beautiful Minidoka County Fairgrounds. Don't you miss it. I want to remind you, too, about our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric. And the job they do for you, and they have been doing that job for almost, 60 years? 60 years? That's amazing. They've got all of your heating, cooling, and electrical needs. They've got everything you need to keep your ACs working. You heard Gina's forecast. It might hit triple digits today. Woo! Past the right guard. And I'll guarantee you they can keep your ACs running just right with all the new clean air filters. They got everything over there at Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Number to call, 678-0459. They open 7:30 to 5. Monday through Friday, Ramsey Heating and Electric, the best. You know, when you use the word the best, you got to talk about Denny's restaurant, too. Delicious. And I'm telling you, we're going to be over there on the 26th and have our next Ebbs Lunch Bunch at Denny's restaurant, 611 North Overland in Burley. It's true. It is America's Diner. Absolutely the wonderful people serving you, and a menu for breakfast, lunch, and dinner anytime, all the time. Knock your socks off delicious. You're going to enjoy it. Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland and Burley. And again, a reminder, we will be there next Thursday for Zeb's Lunch Bunch. Denny's Restaurant. All right, calls are welcome and appreciated. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I want to say quickly, you know I love baseball. I've played baseball. I love baseball. I just absolutely think the world of baseball. And last night, I thought that was one of the nicest, most patriotic openings that I have ever witnessed in professional sports. It just put heads and shoulders above the National Football League and the spoiled brats that play football. Last night's opening of the All-Star game was so patriotic, and I'm not ashamed to say this. You can make fun of me if you want to. When they honored some of the of our top soldiers in this country that have given almost their all for fighting for the United States of America, it brought tears to my eyes. The Medal of Honor recipients, many of which were in wheelchairs, some of which didn't have arms and legs. And the opening was phenomenal. The national anthem was phenomenal. No baseball player last night took a knee or sat on the bench or showed any disrespect whatsoever. They had their caps over their hearts in honor of these soldiers, all of our soldiers, and the national anthem. And I thought, somebody please take the video of that opening last night and send it to Roger Goodell for the NFL, the National Football League, or the National Fools League, and make sure they watch it and learn the respect. I mean, I looked at all the big names, Bryce Harper, Mike Trout, all of them standing there at attention, looking at our flag and listening to the national anthem. The American League won in a home run. I mean, there was home runs going out of there all the time. 8-6 last night, and it was a great game. But above all the game, it was the attitude of apple pie, mom, and baseball, and everybody just cheering, whether they're Republicans or Democrats, everybody just cheering last night and saluting our great country, America. That's the way it should be. Calls. Well, I'd like to hear what your thoughts were. If you noticed that opening last night, man, I'll tell you what, it was great. Just really great. Don't forget Pomerelle Place. Today is the day. Today is the day. And it just started. Yeah. Great big health fair over at Pomerelle Place. Get in the pickup or the car. Run over there. 1301 Bennett Street in Burley. 677-8212. The number to call. Bennett Street is the location. Pomerelle Place. A place for senior living. Great big health fair going on. Cashier Regional is going to be doing the blood draws. They're going to have vendors. They're going to have prize giveaways. What are you waiting for? It's from 8 to noon today over at Pomerelle Place, a place for senior living, 1301 Bennett Street in Burley. And also our thanks to Dino's Septic Service. Yes, sirree, Bobby. They do the job that you and I don't want to do, and they do it so well. These are really, really nice people. Dino's Septic Service, and you know that they take care of liquid waste removal, sewer and sink drain lines cleaned, septic tanks pumped. Ooh. And they've got that big truck, you know, that says, smells cargo on the way. They serve you. They serve you at Dino Septic Service. Give them a call today, 436-6526, or in Burley, 678-1638. Dino Septic Service. What were your thoughts? Did you happen to see that opening last night? I really would like you to give me a call and let me know of the All-Star game. It just made me feel good. I mean, you just didn't see the laxity and the problems and the personality negatives that are shown by many of the National Football League players. No, not at all. I mean, I was so proud of the baseball players last night. Absolutely. Major League Baseball, they hit a home run without swinging a bat last night. That was absolutely wonderful. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she's got her foot stuck in her mouth again. Yesterday we mentioned some of her stupid, frivolous comments. And this liberal, communist, socialist, whatever you want to call her, just keeps on providing more fodder for people like me to criticize her. She made a statement the other day, I guess it was yesterday, and she stated that unemployment, now listen carefully to this, unemployment in the United States is low because everyone, those are her words, everyone has two jobs and they're working 80 hours a week. Everyone has two jobs and they're working 80 hours a week. That's why unemployment is so low. This woman, an avowed socialist, lives in La La Land, and she spews this kind of garbage out in front of the public whenever asked. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb.
Yes, sir.
You know, that gal she has a good personality, and that's what's got her where she's at. So
how do you know that? How do you know that wait a minute. Why do you say she's got a good personality? Why do you say that?
Well, I meant she's at ease when she's talking to a crowd.
Yeah, but she's stupid in the things she says.
Or anything like that.
Yeah.
But when she opens her mouth, it all ends there.
I couldn't agree more.
Okay, but there's somebody that's even higher in that spotlight than her, and that's former President Obama.
Obama
Advocates giving this money
to
these people who have done nothing and are not going to do anything. What right does he have to even interfere fear.
Well, I'm going to tell you something right now. You brought up an excellent point that last night, even along with the All-Star game and the greatness of the game and everything, and a relaxing time watching some really good athletes last night, I just absolutely was so doggone mad at Barack Obama and some of his vile, rash, stupid statements, and this universal income that now the left is starting to throw around to give X amount of dollars, whether it's $500 a month or $1,000 a month, to low-income people because, they're underprivileged and they want what you and I have. That is the biggest bunch of baloney and malarkey, and I can't use the words I want to use. It's absolutely insane.
It's communism on steroids.
Hey, you got it. And people are buying into it, Keith. And the more they put that on the TV, the more that they have radio people talking about it, the more that it's in the newspaper, the more it's going to be somewhat accepted. And then people like you and I that step out against it, we're going to be called the bigots and the hate mongers.
You know, if you had a job, Zeb, and you were doing a good job, and they come along and promoted you and give you more money, and then a month or so later they'll say, we changed our mind. You don't deserve this. And that's exactly what's going to happen here, because you cannot contain $500 a month to everybody in the world.
Where's it going to come from, Keith? Where's it going to come from?
It's not going to come from anywhere.
Yes, it is. No. Wait a minute. Answer the question. Where is the money going to come from? And the answer is you and me, the working taxpayers that are out there, or those that are retired and they're living on limited funding. It's going to come from them in the excess taxes to put into these funds for universal income. And this is absolute stupidity.
And it will also raise inflation.
Yes, it will. Keith, now that you've made me upset, go sit in your lounge chair. You've done your job.
I am so happy.
Okay, have a good day. Thank you.
See you.
I tell you what, I don't know what you folks think about this, but just envision. They're talking about Chicago and other major cities. Oh, well, they're underprivileged. Oh, well, they don't have the same things you do. And the reason they don't have the same things we do, or I do, or you do, is because they're not getting off their fat rear ends and going to work harder with the talents that they have to provide for their family. You can't give people money and expect them to elevate themselves to a higher method of going out and working harder. You can't. It won't work. They're going to become reliant on the government, on you and me. I don't have to do anything. They're going to feed me anyway. And they're going to become more of a deadbeat and a waste to the economy. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Look, I deal in facts, not fairy tales on this program. And when I advertise for a business, I believe in the business. That's a fact. Or I don't put them on the air. I bought a brand new shell for my pickup from Save On Shells, Anthony, and he is absolutely excellent at 1027 Overland and Burley. Take it from me, and I'm serious. This is a testimonial. I have never been treated better by anybody. I've never seen better service. I mean, this young man is excellent. Save On Shells, 1027 Overland and Burley. Tell him I said that. Please. Number to call, 312-1525. That number again, 312-1525. Save On Shells. Absolutely the best. And I mean that. Okay? Also, Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. Here again, I'm really high on these folks. They've done an outstanding job for me in the past on numerous occasions. Caller, I'll be right there. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation with Nick Greenwell and the rest of the physical therapists. Hey, listen, the truth is, they're the best. They know all the exercises. They know how to help you. They can help you get back to being you. And they've got the only hydrotherapy pool of its kind in the area. What else can I say? Call for an appointment at 678-1191. Make an appointment. You go in there, and they can help you get over those aches and pains and surgeries and accidents. Hey, they're the best. I stand behind that. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. Caller, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
This sounds like a voice from the past. One of those that booms out from the caves, shouting into the hinterlands. Good morning, Jack.
I'm sorry I couldn't get in earlier, but I was on the road and I had to get off. I watched the game last night, and even the seventh inning stretch,
yes,
where they all stood up, they had their hand and hats over their hearts for God Bless America. I agree with what you had to say about baseball and the respect for baseball and the country and what it gives them and the opportunities that it gives them.
Yep. Jack, my grandsons, all of them are excellent baseball players, and thanks to my son-in-law and my daughter that have really dedicated their lives to making sure that their baseball careers might be extended maybe through college and possibly into the pros. I just can't say enough about the attitude that I saw by some of these big-name, multi-million-dollar baseball players last night, Mike Trout and Bryce Harper, and the list goes on. They stood there at complete attention. They weren't laughing. They weren't joking. They weren't talking. They stood there for the national anthem, and every NFL team, every NFL owner, every NFL player should be embarrassed if some of their ilk does the opposite during the football season.
I agree. I mean, it was interesting to watch. It was different, but these guys were proud of where they were, who they were, the opportunity they've had, and what they do.
Did you happen to catch some of the remarks that were made? They wired up some of the players last night during the game, so the announcers in the announcing area could talk right to the baseball players on the field. And they had quite a few of them that made excellent remarks, and most every multi-million-dollar baseball player said, "Oh, man, I am so blessed to have made the All-Star game, and I really appreciate this opportunity." It wasn't this, I'm great, I'm better than anybody else. It was, I'm blessed and I'm thankful for what I have. And boy, I'll tell you what, last night, that just sold a lot of tickets for me in Major League Baseball.
I agree 100%.
Well, now, you drive careful.
Has got a lot to learn from what went on last night.
Yeah, but let me ask you this, can they or will they? My problem with the NFL and some of these spoiled prima donnas won't do it.
The political nature of the game and what's going on.
I agree. You know, my dear friend, you take care of yourself and drive carefully. God bless you, and thank you for your call.
Thank you.
All right, buddy. Thank you very much. That is one of my dearest friends, Jack Euler, and I appreciate that. He's all over the Northwest driving all the time, and I worry about him. Thank you, Jack. Sophie's Chatterbox, 530 East Street in Rupert, right on the square. The best doggone restaurant, the best doggone bakery. Oh, my goodness, the cookies, the pies, and the wedding cakes, and all kinds of goodies. All there at Sophie's Chatterbox, 530 East Street in Rupert. Every Monday, we give away a dozen cookies to Sophie's Chatterbox. You be sure and tune in. By the way, too, I want to remind you that, holy buckets, there's going to be another good sale, another big sale put on by Bennett Boys Auction Service. It's going to be this Saturday at 11 o'clock, and it's going to be in Twin Falls at 615 Monroe Street. 615 Monroe Street. Don't forget that. And they're going to have a lot of great great antiques and collectibles and glassware and craft items, all kinds of very unique household items. All of this and more at 11 o'clock this Saturday. Bennett Boys Auction Service with the Bennett Auction. Don't forget this, starting at 11 o'clock. Look for the signs and Joe Bennett and the crew, 539-0111, the number to call. The Bennett Boys Auction Service. No sale too big, no sale too small. The Bennett Boys, they sell them all. Absolutely. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. It almost appeared to me that Major League Baseball, and I'm not saying this is the case, please do not misinterpret, this is just my own opinion. Major League Baseball has sat back and analyzed what's going on with, like the NFL, like the lack of respect from the players. And they've analyzed this and they said, you know something? This is America. This is the greatest place in the world to play professional sports because of all the opportunities and, quite frankly, all the cash. So why don't we just really join together in creating a scenario of this great country and this great game of baseball. And they did it last night. They, in a uniform or a kind of all-together voice, all the different teams, all the different managers, everybody came together and they proved to the world that they deserve the accolades. The game was exciting. I don't want anybody to call me and say, oh, baseball is boring. No, it's not. And baseball is also very dedicated to speeding up the game. They're aware that the attention span and the time that people want to spend is probably not more than a little better than 2 hours and 15 minutes. And they're aware that they have to speed up the games, and they're doing such. But last night, with all the home runs and the glitz and the absolute tribute to America and our soldiers, baseball hit a home run. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Oh, the merchants up at Oakley are saying, come on up and enjoy Oakley Pioneer Days. Oh, my goodness, it's fall this week. All this week, you don't want to miss it. You just go up there, and if you just want to sit in the city park in Oakley, you probably see all your neighbors there. Everybody's going to be going up there. Clark's for Shopping at 100 East Main Street, hometown grocery store, famous for that breakfast sausage from Grandma's recipe. Good. And Clark's for Shopping invites you to come on up to Oakley for Oakley Pioneer Days. Oakley Valley Stone, 204 West Main Street in Oakley. All the stones for fireplaces and headstones for a loved one, landscaping boulders, everything at Oakley Valley Stone. And they say, come on up. 131 years of fun at the Oakley Pioneer Days. Along with Searles, 120 North Center Street in Oakley. Gas, grub, and goodies. I'll tell you, they open the doors at 6 in the morning till 9 at night, and they've got all the good stuff. I mean, the best burgers and pizza. They've got it all at Searles, 120 North Center Street in Oakley. Wishing you to get up there and enjoy Oakley Pioneer Days. Now, on the schedule for today, they've got tonight at 6 p.m., a new event. It's going to be the Moto Rodeo. This is going to be a lot of fun, and I know the folks that were on the air with us were talking about it. It's going to be a really exciting event. And then tomorrow night, the big Gymkhana, and then Friday and Saturday night, the big rodeo, open rodeo, and they're going to have all kinds of festivities during the daytime at the Oakley Pioneer Days. Looking forward with faith. You get on up there and enjoy. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I was a little bit more than miffed. No, I was 100% teed off. When I heard John Brennan, former CIA chief, in the Obama administration, come out and just kind of lead the chorus of the Democratic liberals in the condemnation, again, of Donald Trump as being a traitor. This is over the top. You know, I've said this so many times in the past, and I know you've called and given me your opinion on this, but I absolutely did not want Obama to be president. I said and mentioned many, many things about his ideology and his personality in 2007 leading up to the election in 2008 that I said I did not want that man to sit in the Oval Office. I did not like him. I do not like him. I do not trust him. But I never came out and said anything as vile and low as accusing him of being a traitor, or in some cases even worse from the Democrats. And now it's become an everyday kind of a custom of the Democrats taking swipes at the president in these vile reports that are filed on CNN and MSNBC and the various loons that are on those networks. I've never seen anything like this. And John Brennan, I mean, to me, he's absolutely a loser, a big loser. He was in the Obama administration, and let's just call it like it is. He, John Brennan, was the cause of much of the trouble today that was handed down to the Trump administration. John Brennan himself, a major troublemaker for what's going on today. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Well, one thing most people don't realize, John Brennan is absolutely, if there's a traitor to the country, he's it, because he's a convert to Islam. Most people don't realize that. So he and Obama certainly was, if he's not a Muslim, he certainly liked Muslim prayers and everything, and did everything he could to put down Christians. And Valerie Jarrett, his chief of staff, I think, was actually running the show. But between the three of them, this country is going down the tubes in a hurry. So for Brennan to come out and condemn a patriotic president, I mean, this is really a sad situation. And people need to know where he's coming from, because you have to realize Islam, their goal is to conquer the world. And so you see the actions that happened under his direction and leadership, if you can call it that, Zeb, were to do everything they could to promote Islam, help Iran put this deal together, and have a blind eye toward the terrorist activities of Islam around the world that the CIA should be pointing out.
All right, now wait a minute. Stop there for a second. You brought up an excellent point about John Brennan, and you've kind of led me into what's going to take place this morning at 9:30. Robert Spencer, you've probably seen him on the national news. He's quite an author. He's got a great new book called The History of Jihad, and we're going to be talking about the spread of Islam, the acceptance of Islam, and how it's pilfered into our government. And I'm so glad you mentioned what you did, because it ties me right into Robert Spencer coming on the program this morning.
Well, I'll tell you, it's really interesting when they talk about the things that are going on. We know that, without a doubt, that Hillary was colluding with the Russians, Obama was colluding with the Russians, and they're getting a total pass.
Yeah.
So where's the CIA, where's our intelligence agencies to point that out and to investigate that?
Add one more word to that, Adrian. Add one more. Where's the professionalism? There is none. The Democratic loons on the left. I've always admired past presidents that have never spoken out against current administrations, whether it was the Bushes or whether it was Reagan or whomever. But it seems like now it's open season on Trump. Anybody and everybody is jumping in with some of the most vile language I've ever heard in politics.
Well, and of course, the bottom line is they still haven't got over the fact that Hillary
That's right.
didn't win.
That's right.
And of course, thank God that didn't happen, or this country would totally be toast. And I mean, it would have finished. Hillary would have finished this country off. And of course, all of her lineage, and look at the money she made on Uranium One deal with the Russians.
Right.
That alone should throw a big red flag, Zeb. You know, and all of this other stuff that they have just ignored, and then all of a sudden, Trump comes out and you know, I can guarantee you, you know, it's a dangerous world out there. And for these people to say, well, Trump shouldn't be talking to Putin, I can guarantee you Putin has a large nuclear arsenal. He you know, has a lot of military probably preparedness behind him. So do we. But on the other hand, do we really want to get into a shooting nuclear war?
Absolutely, and I appreciate the fact. I appreciate the bottom line that you just mentioned, and I agree with what you said. I'd rather have them talking and looking at each other and trying to figure out maybe, hopefully, better things for the future instead of pushing buttons that might annihilate so many millions of people. Adrian, I got to run. You know I'm running late, so I got to really get some words in. Thank you so much.
You bet. Have a great day.
I appreciate his call this morning because he's spot on. I don't understand how the Democrats, and I agree with Adrian 100%, how the Democrats can use the talking to each other, meaning Trump and Putin, as a negative. You idiots on the left, I'd much rather have them talking than I would punching buttons. Don't forget Barry Equipment and Rental Sales, Service, and Parts, 159 West Highway 30 in Burley with Juan. I believe Deanne told me that they're going to be on the air with me tomorrow. And don't forget 2465 Addison Avenue West in Twin with Eli and the Nampa location. They've got it all. And by the way, all the equipment rentals and retail equipment sales, don't forget that if you're not sure how to run the equipment, they will teach you. They will teach you. They got a big sandbox out behind, and they will take you out there and, oh, you do this, you do that. Whoop, don't do that. Do this. And you'll be a seasoned professional. Absolutely. Barry Equipment and Rentals, Sales, Service, and Parts. Burley, Twin Falls, and Nampa. You stop in and see them today. Hey, by the way, on Tuesdays, don't forget Ag Minutes, brought to you by Stoats Equipment Company, your John Deere dealer at 119 Overland in Burley. They do make your life easier. These are wonderful, wonderful people that absolutely can help you. And believe me, the great line of John Deere for you and the service and the people and the staff, excellence. Don't forget, on Tuesdays at 9:46, Stoats Equipment Company, Ag Minutes. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Zeb. Going back to that Cortez gal, these Muslims, they're cunning, they're vicious, and they're patient. What's going to happen when we start getting more and more people like Cortez that are coming in to vote for her, every city in this town, in this country, is going to be in danger of being taken over in the next 20 years by the Muslim terrorists. We're getting too many people like this Cortez in high places.
Yeah. If you're looking for an argument, I'm not going to give you one because I'm in total agreement. If I sound bigoted and hateful, I'm going to say that I'm sick and tired of the liberalness. I'm sick and tired of the socialistic attitude, the communistic attitude, and I am absolutely against someone like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I don't want to see more like her. I don't want to hear more like her. I don't want to hear about the downfall of capitalism with some like this girl, 28 years old, that doesn't have a clue as to how the world turns. I agree with you.
Well, another one we've got is that Gutierrez. I saw him the other day on some kind of a panel, and he's not much better than this Cortez.
No, they fall into the same mold, kind of a jello mold that shakes and quivers and causes trouble. I couldn't agree more, Tony, that I'm an American that absolutely believes in capitalism. I'm an American that believes in the spirit of going out and using the talent that God gave you to make yourself bigger and better. And I believe in our Constitution. I believe in the value system, and I'm not going to stand up and apologize for my thoughts. I'm going to fight everybody else.
Well, Cortez brings in people that are less intelligent than she is, and that's what our major problem is going to be.
Gee, Tony, after she spoke over the weekend, it's going to be hard to find somebody less intelligent than her.
Wow. People, how many people that were on overtime?
Well, she just said that the reason unemployment is low is because everyone, this is her word, not mine, everyone has 2 jobs and they're working 80 hours a week.
Trump must be doing a bad job out there. Huh?
Tony, God bless you, man. Thanks.
Okay. Bye.
Take care. Thank you. Hey, I got to get the weather in here real quick. Mount Harrison Audiology, I'm telling you, Dr. Pickup, Dr. Mitchell, they are so skilled and so compassionate, and they are so knowledgeable. You can trust your hearing health to these wonderful people at Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids, and they are right behind the Minidoka Hospital across from the emergency room. Number to call to make an appointment for a hearing screening, 312-0957. Right now, here's the weather.
The warm temperatures are going to continue for the rest of this week as this high-pressure system sticks around. Here is your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. Expecting sunny skies for today. Winds out of the southeast, right around 7 miles an hour. High of 95, possible triple digits, especially in the lower elevations of the valley. Tonight, clear skies with a low of 60. Tomorrow, sunny skies, high of 91. Overnight low of 60. As we head on into the weekend on Friday, sunny skies with a high of 92. Overnight low of 62 for Friday night. Saturday, we do have a 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon. Mostly sunny skies and a high of 90. That's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Wow, wow, wow. It sounds like we're going to sweat a little bit. And the weather brought to you by Mount Harrison Audiology. It's not just a hearing aid place. Believe me, they are a full service to help you hear again. And they've even expanded the services to help small children who are having hearing problems, even infants. Get a hold of them today. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids at 312-0957. Oh, and by the way, before I start taking some more of your calls, the Burley Area Merchants Association, BAMA, I love that name, BAMA, they're going to have their sidewalk sales on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, July 19, 20, and 21 this week. Oh, my! And they're going to invite you to come on in and stock up for school items. I know, it's around the corner. And maybe even for Christmas. I mean, they're going to have great deals throughout all the BAMA merchants this weekend. Don't forget it. BAMA, Burley Area Merchants Association sidewalk sales. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. You know, in accord with what we're talking about here this morning, aren't you fed up, honestly? Aren't you fed up to above your ear tops with the absolute foolishness of the Mueller investigation? What does it mean? What has it proven? What in the world? We're spending, $40-50 million already? Already? And what collusion? What is all the money gone for? What have they found out? Well, the Democrats sit there and they'll say, well, now, just a minute. Yeah, you hang on a second there, cowboy, because even though it's gone a year and a half, we're on the verge of really finding something big. What? What are they on the verge of finding that is going to be earth-shattering and just knock the pegs out from underneath everybody? What? It's our money. It's your money, it's my money, it's everybody's money, taxpayers. They just keep spending at will. Oh, yeah, well, no, wait a minute. Oh, I know, we're still investigating, but we're going to have a big deal here pretty quick. What? These, and I'm going to say this because I mean it, stupid Democrats keep saying that, oh, well, there's big things in the works. What? And why keep this investigation going? Most all the proof, underline the word proof, does not show any collusion with Trump, his staff, etc., in the campaign. Okay? So, what's happening next? I don't know. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Zeb?
Yes, sir.
You know, instead of investigating Trump and all that, they ought to be investigating Hillary.
You know, but
that situation.
Bob, hang on a minute and listen to me, because you are 100% correct. With all the absolute under-the-table I bit my tongue twice, dealings and doings with all the server problems and the emails and the absolute late-night burning the oil, talking to some of these foreign leaders behind the scenes, why not? Why are they so afraid of the Clinton political machine that they will not investigate what was going on all the way from Benghazi forward?
I don't know. It must be money.
Well, I think you've touched on it. The Clinton political machine was big money, and a lot of people got in the way of that big machine, and gee whiz, Bob, it's funny, you don't hear from them anymore.
Yeah, I'll bet you something. I'll bet you it takes a few dollars to get Hillary in shape so she can stand up there on TV and bellyache and complain about stuff. I'll bet it takes a ton of makeup to get her ready.
Well, now, wait a minute, though. Health-wise, you bring up a very good point. I looked at her last weekend when she was making some of these brash and rash statements, and she does not look good. She does not look healthy, and I think what you said might be very true.
Well, she needs a lot of help in more than one way, and it's too damn bad that she can't accept one fact, and that is that she lost the election herself.
Amen. Bob, it's always good to hear from you. Stay cool, my dear friend. Thank you so much for your call.
Oh, hey, Zeb.
Yes, sir.
I had quite an experience yesterday. My little dog got in with a skunk.
Uh-oh.
And her and I had a little tomato juice bath.
You know, I was going to ask you, does that work? I mean, what do you do? How much tomato juice does it take to get rid of the smell? And what about the person that is washing the dog with the tomato juice? Do you have to kind of jump into a vat yourself?
You should have thought the two of us. It was really something. I was mad at first, and then I got to laughing at myself, and I don't know whether it's going to help or not.
Well, I've
washed her off a couple of times, and I don't know. She still smells like a skunk this morning.
Well,
see you there.
All right, Bob. Thank you so much. I've heard about that tomato juice, but I've hopefully, and I'll never have to do it or provide my dog with that kind of a bath if they get tangled up with a skunk. Yeesh. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I wanted to take some time this morning, but I think I'll hold it over till tomorrow. I heard some news that really disturbed me out of the United Kingdom. And a group of so-called medical professionals, well, I tell you what, I'm even going to save it from there until tomorrow morning because it's a very disturbing story. Caller, good morning. I've got about 2 minutes. Go ahead, please.
Yep, tomato juice and baking soda.
Oh, okay, it works?
It works.
How much do you have to put in a tub?
Oh, probably a couple gallons tomato juice and probably about 16, 18 ounces of baking soda.
And then some water?
A little bit of water, but you pour the tomato juice and the baking soda on top of the pat or whoever got sprayed.
Yeah.
And scrub, and then you rinse off with some water. And yeah.
So you act like you've done this?
Once or twice. My wife has about 3 or 4 times.
Well,
so we have an ample supply of tomato juice and baking soda.
I'll tell you what, if ever I have that problem, I will speed dial you, and I'll expect you here in 20 minutes with the containers.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right, Bob. Thank you so much. All right, Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Well, if it's for your dog, if it's for you, you're on your own.
No, I don't blame you there. Hey, I got to run and get a commercial in here, but quickly give us your 15-second special spiel.
Well, it's a little different today. Everybody that bought tickets for the raffle at the Minidoka Senior Center, I want to thank you. You had a chance of winning. And for those of you who did not buy tickets, you didn't even have a chance of winning. They did draw the winner, and I will find out tomorrow afternoon, and I'll let everybody know Monday.
All right, buddy. Hey, thank you so much, Doug. Appreciate you. God bless. Thank you. Don't forget our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations saying if you're going on a road trip, stop in and see them because they've got the best of tires. That's a gimme. They've got all the tires, all the sizes, all the different treads for your cars, pickup, SUVs, trailers, whatever. The best in brake service, the best in front end alignment, shocks and struts and batteries, but above all, the best in service. Absolutely, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers with Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family and Paul, Daniel on Poline and Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland and Burley. They care. And believe me, they take care of you. I can attest to that. All 7 locations of the best. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. We're going to give it a little bit of a break for about 7 minutes. Wheels, take it away. I'll be back in 7. Oh my, here we go. Going to be a warm day outside today. Might hit 100 degrees, and I urge you to drink plenty of fluids, find a big shade tree, and relax. Zeb at the Ranch, I'm Zeb Bell, with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, and of course some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Right now, this good word for our friends at Western Waste Services.
From the canyons of the Snake River and all across southern Idaho, we're always at your disposal. Western Waste Services, we care about our community, our resources, and this great land. Western Waste Services is lending a hand, always at your disposal. Western Waste Services.
Oh my goodness sakes, you've got a great big class reunion, or maybe you're going to have a family reunion, or whatever. You got a huge picnic planned. You better make sure you got the porta potties. Ooh, forgot that, didn't you? Most important, you get a hold of Western Waste Services today. They've got all the porta potties waiting for you. 734-6969. Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. Hey, by the way, on Thursdays, don't forget at 9:17, a great segment. Cassia Regional Hospital, providing you and your family excellent health care answers and services. And we're going to have many of those people on the program. Your friends, your neighbors, Cassia Regional Hospital, quality care close to home. And that will be at 9:17 on Thursday. Cassia Regional Hospital. I want to also mention to you quick, I know I'm running a little bit late this morning, so please bear with me. I want to thank the great people over at Ark Animal Hospital at 750 21st Street near Connection Credit Union in Heyburn. Wow. I mean, wow. They really take care of the dogs and the kitty cats and the horses and the cows. They do everything. They're a mixed animal practice, and they want to make sure that your pets and livestock stay healthy. Absolutely. Number to call, 678-1177. And believe me, Dr. Jordan and Dr. Bill and the whole crew, they are excellent at Ark Animal Hospital, where they always say they have warm hearts for cold noses. One final word here before I go to Dave Vigo on the line. I want to say a big thank you and a shout out to Joel Heward and his family and his staff for the excellent work they do helping and supporting the community. and all the different community events they're involved in. And these people really, really care. Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert, and Joel Hewitt, his family, and his staff. The number to call and get the information about pre-planning of funerals, or if a loved one dies, believe me, they are always there with the highest ethical standards with unquestioned integrity. 436-5636, the number for Hanson Mortuary and Joel Hewitt. And Joel Hewitt also serving you at Morrison Payne Funeral Home on East Main in Burley. Without a doubt, one of my dearest friends that I've never had a chance to shake hands with is on the phone with us on Wednesdays, and we say good morning to Dave Bego in Indiana. How are you, my friend?
Well, I'm doing okay, Zeb. How you doing?
Well, we've got to rectify that problem. Someday you're going to have your entourage land your private plane at Twin Falls Airport, and we'll have lunch.
Well, if that or somehow I'll drive out to see you. One of these days we'll get to see you.
We would love to have that happen. I want to start things off, and Wheels over at the station, a little bit of feedback on the line here, please. I want to start off with what I saw last night, and I made a comment on this in the first hour, and I want to get you and your opinion on here because you're an athlete that really appreciates the benefits of what God gives people as talent. Last night, the opening of that Major League All-Star Baseball game was absolutely phenomenal. It really tugged at the heartstrings. It was patriotic. It showed respect. All the players showed respect, standing tall with their caps over their hearts. Wow. Did you see that?
I just saw a little bit in the beginning. I didn't really watch it all because I had a long day yesterday, but it was great to see that, and that these players and, Major League Baseball is headed in the right direction, contrary to the NFL.
I said earlier, Dave, and I'll stand behind this, that I hope Major League Baseball can send a tape to Roger Goodell and the board of directors at the National Football League on how to act professionally. What do you think?
Well, I do, but Zeb, I think the real problem is behind the scene is the players' union and the NFL is controlling all this stuff and causing this problem. And I think they're going to continue to do this, which is sad for the NFL in this country, that, the unions do this kind of stuff. It all goes back to Kaepernick kneeling, and then, if you remember right, he talked about social justice all the time.
Yeah.
Well, that's a big key word for the unions like the SEIU and other ones, social justice. And that's what they're striving at with this thing, and they've got the NFL Union and Players Association in their ballpark. So.
Okay, but now how? Dave, you know the ins and outs of this much better than I do. The owners put up all the money. The owners and their board get the money to put up the stadiums. They work with the local cities. They work with the local city councils and everything to try to put forth a product that will have people going through the turnstiles to support their team. The owners put up the money for the players, everything else. But then the NFL Players Association comes along with their union, and they can disrupt everything and turn this into a grade B production. Where's the protection for the owners?
Well, the thing is, the unions, they have the right of free speech and stand up and do these things and that. But what you have to have is you have to have the owners have some backbone. And they got to stand up and tell these union bosses, we're not going to do this, we're not going to put up with this, and anybody doesn't, we're not going to have them anymore. And I'll tell you what, I think Americans, the American people, would rather see some of these people that aren't doing this stuff, be let go and bring in other people because they want to see a vibrant, patriotic NFL and one that is doing the right things for America. And, the SEIU tried to do the same thing against us and cleaning companies across the country and, tried to make us look bad and, made us told people that we weren't American and all that kind of stuff. And the truth is they're the ones that aren't telling the truth and are misinforming the American public. And it's better to stand up and expose who they really are and move on. And actually, I think the NFL financially would do better if they did that.
I agree with everything you said, and correct me if I'm wrong, but of all the owners in the NFL, and I'm not a Dallas Cowboy fan, my son is, but I will say that Jerry Jones spoke out last year and said, wait a minute, this is wrong. We're putting up all the money, and this is America, and we're blessed to live in this country. I think he's one of the only owners that had the guts to stand up.
Yeah, and you need them all. And the truth is, and, it's in my second book, because an owner of a business in Fort Wayne, Indiana, read my first book and came down to Indianapolis to talk to me about it, over breakfast, actually. And he says, Dave, I read your first book and everything you went through and the tactics they used and all that. He says, I'm going to be honest with you. He says, I respect everything you did, but I couldn't do that because psychologically I couldn't put up with the attacks that they did. Financially, I wouldn't want to pay the money in that. He says, Dave, here's the bottom line. I think 95% of the business owners in this country wouldn't stand up to him, and we need more people, including myself, to stand up, and that's what needs to happen.
Absolutely. Let me ask you another question here this morning, and maybe I'm wrong, and if I'm wrong, I want you to explain it to me. But in order to have a more cohesive gathering, if you will, of a country that is basically unified for the same purpose, why in the world are we segregating ourselves with different business leaders like Hispanics and blacks that want to start their own chambers of commerces? Why do they do that, and why is it necessary to even think about having all this diversity and all these different chambers of commerce?
I think this is the far left getting into people's minds, their way of dividing the country and bringing the country down. And, they get into these people's minds and say, yeah, you've got to start your own business and that, but you're still, the segregation goes on and all this kind of stuff. And, people are downplaying who you are. And we need to turn this country into a socialist country where we can make sure you get everything that you deserve. Well, the truth is, socialism takes everything away from you.
I agree with that, but we're seeing it happen right here in the Magic Valley. Oh, there were applause and there was all kinds of praise because of the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Well, I think that's segregating, and I think that's dividing. I think we ought to all praise everybody to come together and be unified in a Chamber of Commerce to promote all business. Maybe I'm looking at it wrong.
Well, no, I agree with you 100%, but you understand their agenda and the way they look at this thing is that they divide us, and by dividing us, they can bring us down.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. They want to divide us, and, they try to do that with my employees and customers and everything else. And what you have to do is you have to go out and get in front of these people and explain to them and show them what the real truth is.
Amen. We've got a caller with a question. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air. Thank you.
My question is why is it not discrimination for them to do a different type of chamber of commerce or a different college or whatever, and yet it's discrimination for us to do anything?
And caller, that is a very good question that I've mentioned many times on my program, and I'm going to have Dave respond on the air. Dave, bluntly put, if we started a Caucasian-only chamber of commerce, we'd be ridden out of town on a rail.
Well, that's exactly right. But again, I go back to what I just said, and people have to understand this is a real simple process that they have. It's all about dividing us and dividing this country. And if they set up ones for a black or Hispanic or whatever it may be, and if we say to them, well, if we did that, we'd be wrong. They said, nah, you guys do that because you're in the majority, and it's not because we're in the majority at all. They're doing this to divide this country.
Yeah, I'm really glad to hear you say that because that's my feelings. I mean, everybody locally was praising our Times News newspaper, praised the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. The television station praised the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. And I'm going, wow, I can't agree with that because I'm seeing nothing more but division and segregation. And we're just pitting ourselves against each other instead of unifying each other, coming together maybe at a luncheon or a breakfast and praising each other for joining the same organization.
Well, you're exactly right. And one of the ways that I beat the SEIU, I'd go out in the evenings and I'd meet with our employees at the different buildings we cleaned across the Midwest and sit and at lunch with them. And, we have whites and blacks, Hispanics, and others in there. And I'd explain this to them, is that they're trying to divide us and segregate us and everything by making all these comments that, I don't like blacks or Hispanics, and, we treat you guys different. And the truth is, we don't. We treat everybody the same. We look at you as our employees and American citizens and people that do the right things, and we're glad to have you in this company. And this is the way that you have to go out and defeat these people. And the press, unfortunately, is controlled behind the scenes by the left and the unions. And
absolutely
they're going to continue to do what the left and the unions tell them to do.
Absolutely right. Let me switch gears and topics here a little bit. I wanted to ask you, I'm sure you're like I am. You and I have a lot of the same traits and similarities. But would you tell me in simple verbiage, what in the world, what has been proven by all the money spent, the millions, up to over $40 million of the Mueller investigation, and the Democrats said, oh, no, whoa, wait a minute. Yeah, we know we've been doing this for a year and a half, but something big is coming down the pike. What? What have they proven? What are they looking at? Please tell me.
They haven't proven anything yet, and they're just still trying to find a way to bring Trump and his administration down, and again, they're trying to be divisive. They're trying to split people, and they're going to continue to do these things because the ultimate goal, and I probably say this every show, is that they want to bring this country down and turn us into a socialistic, communistic, totalitarian type of country, and that they can control, and because they don't know how to operate in our free market society.
Absolutely. You have probably, like me, been infatuated with the trip that Trump took over to Europe and met with NATO and kind of stood some people on their ear, met with the UK Prime Minister and stood her on her ear, and really had Angela Merkel and others kind of going, whoa, what's going on? I thought the trip and ending with the meeting with Putin was a good thing, but the liberal left and the Democrats have set their hair on fire. What do you think?
No, I think it was a good trip, and in fact, if you go back and read my blogs from a few years ago, when it comes to NATO and the United Nations, which Trump has also addressed, they've been preying off us. The United States is the one that pays for all this stuff, the majority of it, and it's time these other countries stepped up and paid their fair share. And I think Trump's doing the right thing on that. And the same thing with Britain and the stuff he's gone over with them, and then. And Putin, he might have used some language and did it not quite the right way, but at the end of the day, as a businessman, I think he's playing games. He's trying to, get Putin thinking one way and other people thinking another way, and then back the other way. And at the end of the day, he'll get him down to his objective, and that's when it'll be really interesting.
I'm going to use this word, and I want to see if you agree with me, but I think if I were to define the Democratic Party today, I'd have to also, in parentheses, say the word hypocrites. They're absolute hypocrites. They fawned over Obama when he would sit down and on an open mic one day said to Medvedev of the Russian coalition, hey, tell Vladimir I'll have more flexibility after the election. Boy, if that doesn't sound like collusion, I don't know what does. And they fawned over Obama and Putin getting together. But now, of course, with Trump and Putin talking face-to-face and maybe eliminating a lot of the button pushing that might happen to lead us to a World War III, the Democrats are hailing him as a traitor, etc. I am so sick of this, I'm just fighting mad.
Oh, yeah, and again, this is their program and their agenda and tactics, and people got to realize and step back and understand they don't do as they say, and actions speak louder than words, and people need to watch the actions of the left and the media and stuff like that, because that'll tell you more than anything than what they have to say. And Obama, go back, remember Obama in the Mideast bowing to, the people in Iran and other people in the Mideast when he met to him.
All right.
And what does that tell you about him? If Trump did that today, what do you think they do to him?
Absolutely. You were talking about socialism and communism a little earlier, and I am afraid, Dave, and I mean this, even though they don't have a lot of traction right now, we think, people like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez of New York, an avowed socialist or commie, makes some really rash, stupid statements. One, she said that Israel is occupying the land of Palestine. That started things off. And then she also said that the employment figure is low because everyone, that's her word, not mine, everyone has 2 jobs and is working 80 hours a week. This woman scares me because a lot of people are starting to follow her.
Yeah, again, this is their tactics. They throw this stuff out there, and they're doing it to make people feel like they're being taken advantage of and all that kind of stuff, and that our pre-market capitalistic society is not a good thing for them. And the truth is, at the end of the day, socialism is what's bad for you. People need to take a look at places like Venezuela and what's happened to that country.
Oh, yeah.
And other socialistic countries across the world. And that tells you more than what these people are speaking.
Dave, leading up to this fall, with the November elections, the midterms, I mean, I don't know what the status is in Indiana. I don't know about some of your races for various political offices, etc. But what's the general feel? A lot of people say, there's going to be a blue wave while the Democrats are going to take back this country. I have talked to people all over this country, Texas, Michigan, Rhode Island, Florida, California. I'm not seeing any blue wave coming. As a matter of fact, I'm not even seeing a trickle. What are you seeing?
Well, I agree with you, and I'm hearing more and more, even people in the Democratic Party are tired of the far left and their control over the Democratic Party and the people they're trying to get elected, like the gal in New York and all that. I think they're tired of this stuff, and they want to see America come together again. So I don't see a blue wave coming. And like we got a Senate race here in Indiana where a businessman, Michael Braun, is running for the Senate. First time he's ever run for politics to unseat Democrat Joe Donnelly, and it looks like he's got a very good shot at that now. It's going in the right direction, and I think you're seeing more of this around the country because people are tired of what the far left has stood for.
However, give me a short answer on this. I'm almost out of time. But the more that they are criticized, the more that they are absolutely run through the mill with the Democrats hating them and spreading false stories about them, it's going to be harder and harder in the future to get good people to run for office, is it not?
Well, it is, but again, we need to have good people stand up, and I'll go back to what I've said many times. We need term limits anyway.
Yeah.
We need people that go in and spend a couple terms in office and do good things for this country, then go back to the private sector. And I think we need to see more of that, and hopefully we'll have more good people, business people, and that step in, and we'll make the turn.
Absolutely. Author, businessman, and a darn good guy. Dave Bego in Indianapolis, Indiana. Enjoy, my friend, and look forward to next Wednesday. Thank you so much.
Well, I look forward to it, and thank you. And you guys have a great week out there. And I understand you're going to be around 100. Here in the Midwest in Indiana, we're only going to be about 83 today.
Rub it in, rub it in. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Thanks, Dave.
You too.
All right, buddy. Just a really, really nice man right there, Dave Bego. Hey, by the way, on Thursdays, we've got a segment called The Old Fishing Hole. And Josh from Sportsman's Warehouse, he'll be standing in the stream someplace. He'll be in a boat on a lake, or he'll be on the river. You never know where he's going to be fishing. And while he's fishing, he's going to be telling us exactly exactly how to catch the big ones, what kind of tackle to use and everything. And all of this, of course, at Sportsman's Warehouse, 1940 Bridgeview Boulevard in Twin Falls. Oh, Reese and the crew, they've got the best waiting for you at Sportsman's Warehouse. Stop in and see them today. And don't forget, on Thursdays at 10:32, the Old Fishing Hole, brought to you by Sportsman's Warehouse. Want to remind you, too, that the Burley Area Merchants Association, BAMA, I love that name, man. It's just powerful name. Sidewalk sales are going to be this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, the 19th, 20th, and 21st. Oh, don't miss it. Many, many, many local merchants with the big sidewalk sale, and you're going to find some great deals, great buys for back to school or even up to Christmas. You better stop in at the sidewalk sales this weekend, put on by the Burley Area Merchants Association, BAMA. Don't you miss it. In just a few moments, we're going to have a gentleman on my program that I absolutely can't wait to hear his remarks. He's been on before. He's a great author, and he's got a brand new book out called The History of Jihad. Robert Spencer is going to be here in just a moment. Don't go away. I want to remind you, too, about Vicky's Country Garden. A quick note that on Tuesdays, we have a 9:30 segment with Vicky at Vicky's Country Garden, 185 South, 600 West of Paul. Boy, I'll tell you what, if you're having trouble with your garden, she can help you. Oh, my goodness, this lady celebrating 21 years in business. Vicky's Country Garden, 185 South, 600 West of Paul, really, really knows her stuff. Yesterday, I had an opportunity with my lovely bride of 46 years to stop in and see Jeff over at Lee's Furniture, Floors and More. I am picking out a brand new recliner. Oh, yes, I am. And at Lee's Furniture, Floors and More, they're celebrating a great big red, white, and blue sale all the month of July. Lee's Furniture, Floors and More at 459 Overland in Burley. And they've got carpeting in stock on sale, floor coverings in stock on sale. And they've got mattress closeouts. Oh, my goodness. Most everything is 30 to 50% off. I'm not kidding. 12 months interest free. You better stop in today to people that really care. Lee's Furniture, Floors and More, 459 Overland in Burley. All right, let's go to the phone line right now, and I've been really anxious to get this man on my program and talk about his brand new book. He's been on the show before. He's the director of Jihad Watch and the author of the new book called The History of Jihad, From Mohammed to ISIS. Robert Spencer, how are you?
Just great, thank you. How are you?
Well, I'll tell you what, Robert, I absolutely want to know a little bit more about your book. I want a copy of your book as soon as I can get a hold of one, read it, and have you back. Give us a thumbnail sketch of what you talk about in this book, The History of Jihad.
Absolutely. This is the first and only comprehensive history of jihad around the world since the time of Muhammad, the founder of Islam, up to today. It is the first and only book that gives you the year-by-year entire story of how jihad warfare has devastated the planet from Spain all across Africa to the Middle East to Persia to India. And this is, I think, a book that has immense implications for public policy in numerous ways, domestic and foreign policy, if it is read and heeded.
I'm going to ask over at the main studio to turn the caller up just a little bit, Wheels, please, so I can hear him better. Robert, how afraid should I be as a grandfather, a father, and a husband about my security in this country with the what seems to be acceptance of Islam and some of its characters?
Well, I think you should be most concerned for your grandchildren, Zeb, because what we see in this book is that everywhere Muslims and non-Muslims have lived together, the Muslims have created conflict. And the more numbers they have, the more devastating the conflict is. This is not to say that every Muslim is going to do it, but you have a significant number of them who always have, and therefore why should we think we're going to be different? And so as the massive Muslim migration into Western Europe and to a lesser degree into North America continues, there's just going to be more conflict and more strife. And that is something that our political leaders don't seem to have any awareness of, with, of course, the exception of the president, who has tried to stem the tide a little bit with his travel ban.
You said more strife. And that leads me to question, what do you mean, Robert? Are you talking about more and more problems? For what purpose? What is their, in your opinion, ultimate goal?
The ultimate goal of jihad is to impose Islamic law. And that is a worldwide universal imperative. As I show in the book, it's founded in the Islamic scriptures, the Quran, and it is based on the example of Muhammad, the prophet of Islam. And the idea is that Islamic law is a political system, not just a religious one, and it mandates a second-class status for non-believers under the rule of Islamic law, the hegemony of Islamic law. And everywhere that the Muslims have waged jihad, they have relegated the non-Muslims to this second-class status. And so this is the ultimate goal of what jihad is for, what it's all about, and why it is proceeding today. The idea of terror attacks is to weaken our government and law enforcement apparatus so that eventually it falls and can be replaced by an Islamic government.
You know, I'm going to say this, and I'm sure you know the lady, but for years and years I've had Brigitte Gabriel on my program, Robert, and she also says almost exactly the same thing that you say, along with many others I've had on my show. But why is, in your opinion, the American public so doggone naive that they just can't see the one tree that represents Islam because other trees are standing in the way?
Well, I don't think it's that Americans are naive, actually. I think it's because the political and media elites are lying to us. And they've been lying to us assiduously since not just 9/11, but before 9/11, in the 90s, and telling us all the time that Islam is a religion of peace, that it has nothing to do with terrorism, that anybody who thinks that Islam has anything to do with terrorism is a racist, bigoted Islamophobe. And so a lot of people have internalized this, and it's to our great detriment. There was a plot a few years back at Fort Dix in New Jersey, and the plotters were going to go into the military base and kill as many American soldiers as possible before they themselves were killed. But they got caught because they had their bloody, gory jihad videos on VHS tapes, and they took them to a video store to get them transferred to DVD. The kid who was doing the job saw what was on the tapes and was alarmed. He went to his boss and he said, "Should I go to the police, or would that be racist?" And that's the number that they've done on the American people, that anybody would even hesitate for a second to turn in jihad terrorists because he's afraid that it would be racist to do so, is an indication of how much we've been lied to, how much we've been misled, how much we've been confused, deliberately confused about this issue.
Robert, you are an excellent author, and I've listened to you before on my show and others. But how concerned are you right now that our education system in this United States has been duped into an acceptance factor that our kids are being brainwashed to really accept Islam and the Muslim attitude?
Oh, that's very much an effort going on right now, and it's happening in the public schools. And that's actually another reason why I wrote the book. I'm trying to set the record straight and provide a resource for people who want to fight back against the fake history, the whitewashed history that's being taught to our children all too often and being spread about in the mainstream media. We are being lied to, and these lies are for a political purpose. They are designed to get people to be complacent about the Muslim migrant influx and to say there's no reason why anybody should be concerned. These are wonderful, peaceful, tolerant people. And, of course, some of them are, but not, some of them aren't, and that's the problem. And so we have nothing to be concerned about.
Let's jump from the classroom all the way to politics. And I'll say the same thing I mentioned a moment ago. What in the world is going on with the naive attitude of our politicians and their acceptance of this problem, which I think is growing like a cancer?
Politicians are deathly afraid of being accused of racism. And the American Muslim advocacy groups, as I show in the book, have very skillfully appropriated the language of the civil rights movement and claimed that any kind of criticism of Islam, any kind of opposition to jihad is racism, is Islamophobia, and so on. And they've been able to get counter-terror programs shut down, notably in New York City, on that basis, also in Los Angeles and elsewhere. And so this is the thing that politicians are afraid of the most. If somebody says, look, this guy, he's talking about jihad terror. He's talking about the threat of jihad, and that is a racist dog whistle, then most politicians, they're not courageous people. They're trying to get elected. They're trying to be popular. They're not going to do the right thing. They're going to do the popular thing.
You know, when you were writing this book, and again, Wheels over at the station, I need a little bit more volume when Mr. Spencer is talking, please. When you were writing this book, Robert, what did you, Robert Spencer, learn that might have set you back on your hip pockets and shocked you that you didn't know before?
I'll tell you one thing right off, and that is that this book is the only book in English to discuss the jihad in India in the context of other jihads worldwide. And I knew about the jihad in India, but I didn't know a whole lot of the details. And one of the really remarkable things that I discovered was about Akbar the Great, who was a 16th century Muslim ruler in India. And you hear about many times how Islam teaches tolerance and peace, and the rule of Muslims around the world was tolerant and peaceful. Well, Akbar the Great actually grew disenchanted with Islam and ceased to be a Muslim. And the more he ceased to be a Muslim, the more he discarded aspects of Islam, the more tolerant and magnanimous and benign he became toward his non-Muslim population. So that directly contradicts the claims that Islam teaches peace and tolerance. Akbar only became peaceful and tolerant when he discarded Islam. And then his son, who was an Islamic hardliner, restored a lot of the oppressive measures against the Hindus that Akbar had discarded, because Jahangir, his son, was an Islamic hardliner. And so the violence, the brutality, and the intolerance actually came with Islam and left with Islam. There was no tolerance in Islam itself.
There has been, as of late, a little bit of a hiatus as far as worrying about ISIS, worrying about terror attacks, etc. And my concern, and I'm going to go back to being a grandfather and a father and a husband again, my concern that maybe we're being too, again, naive and not thinking that they're trying to regroup and maybe hit us or the world again with more of their supposed dominating power. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong at all. See, the thing is that the jihad in Islamic history was proceeding according to teachings of Islam. Those teachings of Islam are still there. They haven't been reformed. They haven't been rejected. They haven't been reconsidered. And so why should we think that we're not going to bear the brunt of the activity of people who still believe in those teachings? We are. There's just no doubt about that. There's no question about that. Anybody who thinks that the Muslims in the United States are somehow going to be different from the Muslims everywhere else, when they're not from a different sect, they're not from a different point of view, they share the same beliefs, they're just naive in the extreme.
You know, I'm a little bit more than concerned about Sharia law and the possible imposition of Sharia law in this country. I have been criticized by some on the left here in this area and across the United States for my remarks about Sharia law, but I still maintain that if you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. If the court system starts allowing one, they'll allow two, as far as possibly implementation of Sharia law in this country. How afraid are you that this will happen?
It's a very real possibility. The thing is that Sharia is a unit. The aspects of Sharia that involve Muslim religious practice that most of the Sharia advocates in the United States point to when they're saying, see, Sharia, it's just religious law. There's nothing to be concerned about. Those aspects of Sharia are not separate from or distinct from within the framework of Islamic law from the aspects of Sharia that involve warfare against unbelievers and the subjugation of unbelievers, the subjugation of women, and so on. See, it's all Sharia. And so if you start to allow for it in one context in the United States, then you're ultimately opening the door to allowing in another context. I don't see how there's any other way to look at that, really, if you think about it. If you're opening the door to Sharia, well, warfare against unbelievers and the institutionalized discrimination against unbelievers and women and others is all part of Sharia. So if you're opening the door to one part of it, you're opening the door to all of it, including aspects that are at direct variance with American constitutional principles.
Robert, we see many people in the public eye defending Islam. We see many people that, like John Brennan, former CIA chief, and then, of course, we've got Keith Ellison from Minnesota. How concerned are you about the personalities that are getting involved in politics that are trying to promote this behind the scenes? Some of the remarks that Keith Ellison has made are really scary to me.
Yeah, Keith Ellison is a very scary guy. There's no doubt about that. As a matter of fact, just yesterday, Keith Ellison wrote to Amazon.com, which is the primary place now that Americans get books. The bookstores are mostly closed, and if you want a book, you go to Amazon. And Keith Ellison has written a letter demanding that Amazon stop making available books by authors that are considered hateful by the Southern Poverty Law Center. Now, the Southern Poverty Law Center is a leftist hate group that characterizes as hate group leaders, me included, and many others who simply dissent from the leftist agenda. And so what Keith Ellison is trying to do is to shut down the publication of books that don't reflect his point of view. That's a totalitarian, authoritarian initiative that, if it's successful, then the freedom of speech will be effectively dead in the United States.
Okay, from that juncture that you just mentioned, what would you like my audience to do? What should we be doing? And also, where can we go find your book and start making purchases and learn more?
Well, second question first. Right now, until Keith Ellison gets his way, you can still get it at Amazon, also at BarnesandNoble.com, and after August 7th, it'll be in any self-respecting bookstore. Also, in terms of what we can do, what we must do, we have to take these issues to our political leaders, to our candidates, make it very clear that we are not going to favor people like Ellison and others who are trying to restrict the freedom of speech. Make it very clear that we understand that we need a more realistic approach to jihad, and we expect them to implement it. The Obama administration, as I show in the book, they banned all mention of Islam and jihad from counterterror training. That hamstrings our response to it. You can't defeat an enemy you don't understand. And so that has to be reversed, and it's we, the people, who have to make sure that our elected officials and our candidates know that we expect that of them. And if we do that in sufficient numbers, then we will start to see some change.
In regards to our political machine, whether it's the House or the Senate, Robert, do we have anybody, honestly, and I mean this, do we have anybody with a backbone, or simply put, guts, that's going to stand up for what's right in this country anymore? I'm concerned that we have lost and the cowards are still in power.
Well, yes, cowardice is pandemic, but there are a few. Louis Gohmert, the congressman from Texas, and Nikki Haley at the UN, the president himself. There are people, in powerful places, who are working to stem the tide in this. And I wish them all success. There are others that I didn't enumerate, but there are others. And so there's every reason to be hopeful, but we shouldn't be complacent.
When I get your book and I read it from cover to cover, what do you want me to take away from the book? What's the main theme you want me to remember?
That jihad is a constant of Islamic history, and it is an element of Islamic doctrine, and these are things that we are going to have to deal with today. It is not as if, as I said before, the Muslims in the U.S. have some different belief system. It's the same jihad. We're going to have to deal with it sooner or later.
You know, Robert, I wish you well, and I really compliment you on having the backbone to write this book and delve into the problem. The book is called The History of Jihad, From Muhammad to ISIS. Robert Spencer. Robert, God bless you, and I mean that, and come back soon.
Thank you very much. I'd love to. Pleasure talking with you.
Thank you, sir. I've got to get that book, and I'm going to read it and make sure that I have Robert Spencer back on the program. I've seen him on many, many news shows and talk shows, etc., and he's been on my program before, but this is an excellent book, and I can't wait to read it. Thank you very much, Robert Spencer, with the book called The History of Jihad, From Muhammad to ISIS. We've got to get a weather forecast on here real quick, and I think we can sum it up and say, oh, it's going to be hot. Yes, it is going to be hot. And the weather brought to you this hour by our friends at Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company. They've been providing accounting services to the Mini-Cash area for well over 50 years. My dear friend Lyden Crane sent me a note that said, on behalf of Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company, they want people to be aware of the 2018 PATH Act, P-A-T-H, and many tax rates have changed. There are new deductions, but there's been alterations to some of the old deductions. So for you, your family, your business, you'd better learn what's out there. So they can help, they will help at Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company with offices in Burley and Rupert. Right now, here's Gina with the forecast.
The warm temperatures are going to continue for the rest of this week as this high-pressure system sticks around. Here is your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. Expecting sunny skies for today. Winds out of the southeast, right around 7 miles an hour. High of 95, possible triple digits, especially in the lower elevations of the valley. Tonight, clear skies with a low of 60. Tomorrow, sunny skies, high of 91, overnight low of 60. As we head on into the weekend on Friday, sunny skies with a high of 92, overnight low of 62 for Friday night. Saturday, we do have a 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon, mostly sunny skies at a high of 90. That's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thank you, Gina, and brought to you by our friends, your friends, Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company. And they have been, like I said, providing accounting services to the Mini-Cash area for well over 50 years. Changes in the tax rates, changes in the new deductions. You get a hold of them today. Find out more. Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company. Woo! Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call. It's chilling, it's scary, and it's real, what's going on in our world today. And you can't just lift up the corner of the rug and sweep it under the rug and then cover it up. When I hear people like Robert Spencer on my program, and they have facts to back up what they put in books about Muslims and Islam and the dangers and the jihad, it should wake us all up to be more cognizant of what's going on in the real world. I'm not promoting hate. I'm not promoting anything like that. I'm talking about reality. And I'm talking about our security. Don't forget, if you want to get outside and enjoy the real beautiful outdoors of Idaho, stop over and check on the ATVs at Let's Ride. 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. Man, I'm telling you, they're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays, 9 to 4. 0% financing on ATVs, and they've also got the Honda Pioneer side-by-sides. They've got all the watercraft. Oh, my goodness, yes, they've got a great accessory department over there and a super service department to keep you running. All you need to do is stop over and see them at Let's Ride. Nick, Randy, the whole crew at 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. And this place, this is the place where the fun is sold. I'd sure like to have a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a jingle. It's true. It's absolutely true. In about 15 minutes, we're going to hear the door open up, and the incredible Bulk will be here. I'm talking about Kelton Hatch with the Idaho Fish and Game. He has not been here for almost 3 months. And I think I'll reintroduce myself, and we'll treat him with extreme kindness. Well, maybe not. And we'll have the Idaho Fish and Game coming up next hour, so don't miss that. By the way, too, while I'm waiting for your calls, I want to remind you about Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits, all of this and more you need to know about. You need to protect yourself, your family, and your business. So I urge you to make an appointment today. These folks at Cameron and Siemens Insurance, say that again, Zeb, Cameron and Siemens Insurance are dedicated and responsive to your needs and very accessible. So please call the number 436-4424. That number again, 436-4424. The best. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. All right, your turn. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a jingle on the landline. Let's see if I got anything else that I didn't mention in the first hour. Let's see. We talked about that. Oh, I wanted to say again that they're going to have another lawnmower racing series, and it's going to be at the Minidoka County Fairgrounds this Saturday night. Gentlemen, start your lawnmowers. Boom, boom, boom. Yep, it's going to be at 6 p.m. Concessions open at 5:30 p.m. at the beautiful Minidoka County Fairgrounds. And for more information, you can contact 436-9748 or 431-6351. And, of course, this event this weekend sponsored by the Minidoka County Fair. And it's going to be the lawnmower races Saturday night at 6 p.m. Don't you miss it. I've always wanted to do that. Really. I've always wanted to be involved in one of the races. Sounds like a lot of fun, and you'll enjoy it. I know you will. Let's see, what else have we got cooking here? At 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Did you hear, I just read about this, and then I called some people up in Pendleton to find out more, that there was something really funny going on in the skies over Pendleton last week. Did you read about that in the paper? Well, I called some people up in Pendleton. Some said they saw this. There were white objects that were seen floating over the southern area of Pendleton last week for more than an hour. Yep. And some people tried to explain what it was, but when all was said and done, they had a copy that was shot on a video phone, and nobody can figure out what these things were. There was one that was hanging over the southeastern part of Pendleton, and then another one came into view, and they just kind of drifted together in one place and stayed there, and then all of a sudden, boop, they're gone. And like I said, the objects and the people up in Pendleton said it still remains a mystery. Well, coming up next hour, it is no mystery. We will have Kelton Hatch with the Idaho Fish and Game right here in the studio. It's been so long, I had to reacquaint him with how to get the directions to get to my place, but he'll be here in a few minutes. We want to remind you that your calls are always appreciated to ask questions of the Fish and Game with Kelton Hatch, so we'll look forward to that. Until the next hour starts, we're going to turn it over to Wheels, and we've got CBS News. Buddy, take it away. Oh, my goodness sakes. A homeless person just walked by and knocked on the door and has asked for refuge. His name is Kelton Hatch. Stand by one moment. We'll have him on the air. Good morning, everybody. Zeb at the Ranch, brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley, Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, and, of course, some of our great advertisers, like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. I think we'll just forego anything else right now. Please do not bend the wires. Play with the little soft toys over there and leave everything else alone. planes flying over there trying to find you. Kelton Hatch, Idaho Fish and Game, how are you?
Just grand.
You know, it's been a long time since you've been here.
It has. It's been
April.
I know. This is the longest stint that you haven't seen my pretty face.
Wouldn't go that far. I did see it at the post office.
Well, yeah. And that tells you how old Zeb is. He still goes to a post office.
Yeah, still do. Well, so tell us in 30 seconds or less what's been going on in Kelton Hatch's world.
You know, things are just flying by. I just cannot believe
this has been the fastest year I've ever noticed.
Well, I think it's because we got a year older. And the closer to that end, I think it goes faster. It's like going downhill.
Can you imagine it's almost fair season?
Oh, no. I was sitting there, no. It's fun. I love fall. I mean, it's the time of year you wait for, but I hate to see it go by. But it's been a great year so far.
Yeah.
Getting a little bit warmer than my desired temperature, but, you know, crops are growing as long as you got water on the things.
That corn has really shot up.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's growing 3 inches a day, it looks like, or more.
Goodness.
So
what's going on with the Idaho fishing? May I say something to you right now that I've been holding for 2 months? Yes, I did go in and apply.
Did you really?
In my license, I laid it there on the table so you could see that I have a hunting and fishing license, and yes, I did go in and apply. I just want to go, nah.
Did you draw?
No.
Oh. Sorry.
I am too. So, all seriousness, there's a lot of fires starting up.
Oh, it's crazy. I just got an update here. There's a new fire. It's called the Burger Butte Fire.
Right over here.
Yep. 3,700 acres.
Okay.
And then you run out to the Winter Campfire that's over by Castle Ford. And that's gone to over an estimated size of 30,000 acres.
Whoa.
Then you've got the Dog Creek Fire over there by Gooding.
Yeah.
That's 9,000 acres.
Now, whereabouts is that exactly? I'm not quite sure.
You know where when you leave Gooding and you're headed north towards Fairfield.
Right.
Dog Creek's about 2-3 miles outside of town, and then to the west.
Oh, okay.
So it's going to be over in that area.
Okay.
But then you've got a couple other fires. I mean, still, it's just crazy. One night it went through, and I think it was 20-some-odd fires the dry lightning's caused, because you got the Spud Butte Fire over by Cary that's over 4,000 acres. You got the East Fork Fire. Well, they're calling that the Winter Camp Fire, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Over there. That's really growing. Then you've got the Mud Final Update fire, but it only burnt 55 acres. And then we had another Elephant Fire that burned 4 acres, and the Burger Butte Fire we talked about. And that's about it. But, I mean, that's a pile of fires that started, and they've knocked some other smaller ones out. And so I guess what the plea is here, lots of fires, but be really cautious when you're out there. It never ceases to amaze me when I'm headed out in the hills and I see cars parked off the shoulder of the road over cheatgrass.
Oh, you know, I got to tell you what happened yesterday. I like to keep everything mowed and looking nice. You can tell by our lawn that we take a lot of care in it. And I was going along the fence line by the arena, and there's a wheat field right there, and all of a sudden I stopped, and I looked, and I backed up, and I said, ain't going to mow here no more.
Well, it's like you hit one rock on that metal blade, and all of a sudden you could have a little spark going. You know, it scares you to death. Yeah. And my son-in-law, they're coming into town this week, and they're saying, let's go shooting up the canyon. I says,
no,
not right now.
Not
it's
a good thing.
Just, you get a weird ricochet or something happens, and it's just really scary out there as dry as
what you said a minute ago, maybe you should elaborate a little bit on some of the don'ts. People don't realize some of the hazards that they might cause because it's commonplace to them to do certain things, like you said, parking a car or whatever.
Well, yeah, I mean, your exhaust system underneath your car gets extremely hot.
That's
it has no problem starting a fire if it's parked over grass. So if you're over dry grass, you can come back and you might, hey, isn't that smoke over by where my car was?
Yeah.
Well, it was.
What about ATVs?
ATVs are terrible because if for fire causing danger just because of your baffle system or sparks from the motor and stuff, it's just really dangerous this time of year to be out and about. The big thing is we get people that are still shooting tannerite targets, and tannerite's an exploding target.
Yeah.
And they'll put those out near, in some of these would-be shooting ranges on public land. They think there's not much grass around there, but then they go off and they can start fires, bullets hitting rocks, skipping wrong, hitting the wrong kind of metal and stuff like that. They've had those start. Cigarette butts. One of the big things, you always see fires down the edge of the interstate. It's not cigarette butts 95% of the time. It's a wheel bearing going out on a little trailer.
Yeah.
Causing fires.
Really?
So you just need to, or chains dragging, and just a bunch of different things can start those. But when it's this dry and this hot, they just explode in the afternoon.
What about, honestly, going up into the South Hills or any mountain area right now, regardless of where it is? I mean, can you do it with any kind of safety?
I think you can if you stay on the roads and you're aware of where you're going. I mean, I wouldn't drive down 2 tracks that have cheatgrass that are stuffed up underneath into my exhaust system and things like that.
Yeah.
But I mean on maintained dirt roads and stuff. But you need to be careful with chainsaws and cutting torches, or just all manner of power equipment, because you can be held responsible for those fires.
Yeah.
And so be cautious. I haven't seen that the Forest Service has banned campfires yet. They may have, but before heading up this weekend, I may call I would call the Forest Service and BLM and see what they're doing with their fire codes right now in the campgrounds. And
we need a good rain.
We do. We need a cut, but the problem is you get one, and then we need a little bit of moisture. It'd be nice up there in the hills. We did get, but the problem is like the other night we got moisture. We just got dry lightning going along with it, and so it fired up a bunch of fires. But just be careful out there.
What about the picking up of the tags?
Well, Zeb is hoping that you will not go purchase your tags that you drew.
I want to buy one.
So that he can apply for it.
There you go.
August 5th through the 15th for the second draw.
I'm making a note.
Make a note. Because if you do not pick up that tag, it goes back up for grabs. And so get it purchased before the end of the month.
Do I have to pay again?
You have to pay for application fee.
So another fee as of the first one?
Yep, okay. Because you played the lotto the first time, you didn't win, now you're playing the lotto again for the second one.
Okay, so I'm double dipping.
Double dipping. So hopefully maybe you'll draw one of these tags that somebody doesn't pick up.
My luck has not been good.
We always have such bad results when people don't pick them up, people call in and said, we had a poor lady that called and was in tears and said, is it too late to buy my husband's tag? He went out of town and asked me to pick it up, and I forgot about it. And I said,
when does the divorce go to court?
I said, well, he had 30 days to take care of this prior.
Yeah, that's exactly
It's
right.
not your fault.
It's not your fault.
I mean, maybe it is a little bit, but it's not 100%, because if it's their tag...
And you can't make concessions to people like that.
You can't.
No.
Because, it's just it's like driving 90 in a 75. I mean, it's a break-in, they can't let you off.
Yeah.
And so we have those hard and fast dates, so you've got through July to pick up your tags, and then they go back up. We'll have a list of the unclaimed tags or undersubscribed units, which there weren't very many this year. But unclaimed tags, we'll have that list probably around the 3rd or the 4th, and then they'll go back. One thing people always ask us, though, Zeb, is some of those hunts, hunts are starting like crazy here, and then we're going to talk about that in a minute. But some of these hunts will have started before these leftover tags, people can get them into their hands.
Oh.
You just lose a few days if you opt to apply for those hunts.
I see.
And so we used to sell them, and it was a nightmare because of the line of people that were out there, and so it made it easier just to put those in for a controlled hunt again.
Okay, we've got a caller with a question. Good morning, you're on the air. Thanks for calling. Good morning, you're on the air.
Yeah, I was wondering what they're doing I was wondering what he's doing to put the fires out right now.
I couldn't hear the.
You're on a cell phone or something. I'm having a hard time hearing you. Did you say what they're doing to put the fires out?
That's correct.
Okay, sir. Answer that question then.
It's the BLM and the Forest Service that are running those firefighting efforts. They got firefighters from all over, but I can tell you on the bigger fires right now, let me hurry and open up that. It'll actually tell me how many people are on those fires. Battle and Blaze, northern flank. Let's see. This is we'll get the big one.
Okay.
Sorry it's taking me so long. I'm just a little slow, We got 11 engines, 2 dozers, 2 water tenders, 1 BLM crew, and 1 hotshot crew that's out on the Sailor Creek fire. So they got a bunch of people. And then the Burger Butte fire out here, they say they've got 5 engines, water tender, and 1 hotshot crew. I do know that yesterday we have a gentleman that works in our office, and his wife works for the BLM. When the Dog Creek fire fired up yesterday, they had crews on all these other fires, and they didn't hardly have anybody to send out to go to that fire. And so they're getting their resources really skinny right now, and so I'm guessing they'll probably. The problem is we've got that Nevada fire burning right on the Oregon.
One over by Winnemucca, isn't it?
Yeah, the Martin fire, and it's over 500,000 acres.
Okay, caller, thank you. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I got a question for him. Why aren't they using planes to put these fires out?
They do have planes. Yesterday we were out trying to fly bighorn sheep on the Jarbidge, and when I was looking at our pilots our crew out there flying, there was 10 or 15 other planes over, and I did see a helicopter that flew over, a water helicopter. And one thing you got to realize too, with the Martin fire so close, we had. It's over 500,000 acres and has taken out ranches and farms over there. The BLM has really directed a lot of their people over there because it's such a massive fire and it's got such a long line, and so they're really struggling. They've got X amount of gear out there to get across the country. California's got a lot of fires. Colorado's got a lot of fires. And they're shipping in firefighting crews from all over the country trying to get in.
Doing the best they can.
They are. They're working their guts out.
Thank you, caller. Appreciate it. We've got to get flying here a little bit if we're going to get some of these things taken care of. Can you sit still for 5 minutes so I don't hear that rumbling on the microphone?
What rumbling? I didn't move it.
I'm going to just ask you, take one of the little rubber balls and the little rubber horse over there and just sit there and play with them quietly.
I am.
Okay.
I got 2 of the little balls.
My goodness, we've got another call with a question for you. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Thanks, Zeb. I was just wondering how the draw actually happens. I mean, I've put in for 10 years and haven't gotten a draw here in the state I live in. And I hear all kinds of people from out of state, and they get one every time they put in. Is it all computerized, or what is it anymore?
I'll tell you what, that's a very good question, and I think it's we should have him explain that again. Kelton, if you would, please, on the air.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you one thing. The draw is very frustrating, regardless of who you are. What it is computerized. And it's just the luck of the draw. It really is. Non-residents get 10% of our controlled hunt tags. They take all of the controlled hunts together. They put them in a big clump, and so I'm going to say if we had 50 or 100,000 controlled tags, they would get 10,000 of them if there's 100,000. So some hunts only have 2 or 3 tags, and a non-resident could draw one of those. But then that would mean a hunt that had 12 tags, maybe a non-resident didn't draw it. So they are limited to just 10% of those controlled hunt tags. As us for residents, you just really have to play the odds on them. A lot of people get really frustrated about the South Hills down here in 54 not drawing it. Well, you got to realize that's a 1 in 10 drawing odds. So for every tag down there, we have 10 people that put in. If you put in for the bull tag in the South Hills, that's 1 in 112, because there was 12 or 1,300 people that put in for those 10 tags down there. Well, that's closer to 1 in 1,000.
Yeah.
And so, well, no, there's 100. No, it was 1,300 people that put in for that tag. So it's like one in 130. And so
you don't have to be a mathematician.
I know. Well, you do if you want to draw. It's hard because, you know, we look at these point systems and stuff like that. Well, even if we had a point system, you would never draw the 54 bull tag in your lifetime unless you're going to live to over 130 years, where you'd be guaranteed a tag.
Yeah.
You know, or 50.
But is there a better system?
You ask anybody that has a point system, they like the Idaho system where people can have the opportunity to draw.
I can
every year.
I can share in that man's feelings of frustration because I've only drawn once.
You've only put in twice.
No, that's not true. No, but seriously, I moved here in 1969, and I've only drawn once.
It's frustrating. I mean, I look at, we love going over and hunting 55. My wife is not what I classify as a typical hunter. I mean, she goes out for a day, and that's good, but she hasn't been able to draw a 55 doe tag, which is a 1 in 2 drawing odd, for the last 4 years.
Really?
And so it's just really... 50% of the people don't get a tag in that hunt, and 50% of them do, and she's just been on the unlucky side of the 50%.
Wow.
She told me she's putting in herself next year, not allowing me to do it because I'm unlucky for her.
Well, now there's another conversation we could have for quite some time. Caller, we've got you on the air. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I know it's been brought up every year, but if you don't do it for all the hunts, like with your moose, etc., why don't we go to a point system? Where as every year that you put in and you're denied for a hunt, you gain points. Why doesn't Idaho do that so that the more you put in and don't draw, you have a better chance, like your wife would have a better chance of drawing?
And on those...
She's put in so many times.
I know. And, you know, we've really debated that because last year the commission actually had us go out to the public and scope that. It came back less than 30% of the general public in Idaho wanted to see a point system, and that's the biggest reason we have not gone to a point system in Idaho.
It's so much more fair for those of us who haven't drawn in 5 or 6 years to know, well, we're getting closer because we got more points than somebody else.
Yeah.
And whether you do it for the general hunt or you just started on things like moose and your bighorn sheep, and see how that goes, so that people, you know, my husband's put in for moose for 20 years and never has drawn it, and then he can't put in for the general hunts. I put in for the general hunts, and I can't seem to draw them anymore. And we like to live off our wild game.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we have friends who kick some meat over to us, but if it was on a points deal, it's actually more fair for all of the Idahoans, because if you haven't drawn for a while, your chances are going to be up that you will draw.
Yeah. One thing I would like you to do is, if you have a few minutes, go to the YouTube and look up Idaho point system or Idaho draw point system under Idaho Department of Fish and Game. Google that. We've got 3 videos on there that go through the different types of point systems and how it will help. We put that out a couple of years ago. It's by Regan Berkeley, and it really breaks down how point systems work.
Okay, caller.
But I appreciate your call.
Thank you very, very much. I just came up with an idea on how to solve this problem.
What?
Okay, the draw.
Okay.
Okay, no, seriously. Wouldn't this increase the opportunities for people if we did it this way? I'm just going to throw this out. I was taking some notes while you were discussing with that lady. Why couldn't we go with the alphabet on the last names, and the first year have 13 letters of the alphabet, which would be the odd year, and the next year make it even for the rest of the alphabet, and it would switch off year after year? Your chances would be far greater of drawing.
It would, and if that was the case for the South Hills, where it's 1 in 9, that would make it 1 in 5 for you. So 4 of you still wouldn't draw a tag down there.
But if you went with the, let's say, the A through...
I know, but that if it's a 50 split, all you're doing is cutting that success.
I was trying to help.
I know. It's really difficult because it's so frustrating. And I'm going to give a little anecdote. I started putting in down in Utah.
Yeah.
When I was going to school down there, I went to Utah State, of course, and then
we know.
I know.
We know.
And, I've only been doing this for 40 years. This show, it feels like, but no, I love talking to the folks here. But I started buying points down there. I wanted to draw a Henry's tag. Well, the Henry's tag now is the single most coveted tag down there. When I first started applying, it was a 1 in 7 draw. I got up to 14 points, and it was a 1 in 17 draw.
That doesn't add up.
And so I could never catch up to the points.
No, you were always behind.
In that length of time, I had also bought Bighorn sheep points in Utah. I had a 0.01% chance of drawing with 17 points. 0.01%. The worst drawing odd in Idaho for any of our trophy species is roughly 2% or 4% for some of our bighorn sheep. And I know that's not very good, but it's way better than 0.01%. The point system really sounds good, and in some cases it does help. On the lower application hunts, like 55 does or for some of our doe hunts, but once you hit 1 in 10, people get 10 points and they haven't drawn, and so then they go, well, I'm going to put in for that 1 in 10 hunt.
Yeah.
And that 1 in 10 hunt goes for a 1 in 20 that year.
Okay, I got to break in. I got to get a commercial in here. Don't forget Oakley Pioneer Days. Are you going up to Oakley Pioneer Days?
I would like to.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, some of the merchants up there are inviting you to come up and share in the fun, like Smith's Cafe at 135 East Main in Oakley. They're open Monday through Saturday, 6:30 in the morning until all the customers leave. I'll tell you what, they've got the best doggone burgers in the county, they say, at Smith's Cafe, 135 East Main in Oakley. And Speaker of the House, Representative Scott Bedke, of course, a rancher in the Oakley area, wants to invite everybody up to the 131st edition of Oakley Pioneer Days, Western Traditions in Oakley. Thank you, Speaker of the House, Scott Bedke. And some of the activities that are going on up there, you don't want to miss. Now, tonight, they're going to have that Moto Rodeo starting at 6 p.m., you know, the motorcycles and everything. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. And then, of course, tomorrow night, the big Gymkhana. That Gymkhana is world famous. Friday and Saturday, of course, the open rodeo, fireworks, dancing, all kinds of activities on Saturday, including on Saturday at 11 o'clock, the great big Pioneer Day Parade. Oakley Pioneer Days for this year. Looking forward with faith. Be sure and get on up to Oakley Pioneer Days. We've got to go to a break right now, and then we'll come back. We're only about a third of the way done. You know that on your list that is double-spaced and typewritten. We'll be back with more with Kelton Hatch in about 3 minutes.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb.
Oh, thank you very much. And don't forget, the Bennett Boys are going to have another great sale coming up this Saturday. Bennett Boys Auction Service with the Bennett Auction at 11 o'clock on Saturday, July 21st. This Saturday, located in Twin Falls at 615 Monroe Street. Oh my, antiques, lots and lots of collectibles and collectible glassware, craft items, and all sorts of supplies and household items, miscellaneous. It's going to be quite a unique sale. Don't miss this. Bennett Auction, 11 o'clock Saturday, this coming Saturday, the 21st, at 615 Monroe Street in Twin Falls. Managed by the Bennett Boys Auction Service. Joe Bennett and the crew. Remember, the Bennett Boys, no sale too big, no sale too small. The Bennett Boys, they sell them all. We have had quite a spirited conversation during the break about how to solve the draw problem, and I'm going to be honest with you. I'm waving the white flag because I don't think there is an answer.
It's you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. 70% of the population right now, from our surveys, don't want to point.
And let me ask you this. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I would imagine, on behalf of the Fish and Game, that the problem is actually exacerbating itself yearly because of the influx of more people moving in, and boy, the numbers have got to be more minute than ever.
Well, yeah. Well, number one, you're losing wildlife habitat because more people are moving in.
Yeah.
More people are running around in the South Hills. Just think how many vehicles you see down there on a daily basis.
Yeah, I know.
And then we've got more and more and more people. Every year we have more people applying for controlled hunts. And and the thing is the Magic Valley isn't just if we could just say folks in the Magic Valley are the only ones that can apply for tags in the Magic Valley, it would solve a huge portion of our problem on people being able to draw locally.
Right.
However, they're a state, everyone in the state owns these animals, and so the big thing I've seen is an increase of out-of-area people applying for hunts here. And so that's really driven our drawing odds. I think back to when we first moved here. I mean, I'm a fine example. We moved here 16 years ago. We moved into the area. My kids could draw a 54 tag every year when they got old enough, because there's like a 1 to 1.5 people applied for each of those tags. Well, now the youth tag down here for the buck is 1 in 8,
Yeah.
1 in 7, 1 in 8. You know, and it makes it really difficult. I mean, there's still a discussion whether we should keep the youth tag or just put those youth tags in with the general tags and let everybody go after them, because it's not really giving the youth an opportunity. And so there's a lot of discussion. And the more people are after these tags, the harder and harder they get. And we're one of the few states that is actually growing in numbers of hunters.
Yeah.
Most places are losing hunters by the droves. We're still increasing on the number of hunters in Idaho, and it's just because we have a rich heritage of it. We've got a ton of public land, and it's still reasonable for people to do.
I need to call Deanne. If you're out in the other room, please come into the studio as soon as possible. Cujo is under attack, and I think someone else is out there. If you could, please, Deanne, I'd appreciate that. You know Cujo. You've met Cujo.
Cujo's bitten me on the ankles multiple times.
Yes, and deservedly so. Okay, now, give me a quick answer on some of these things. Access Yes books soon to be out.
Okay. We have this program in the Magic Valley across the state. We get most of the money in the Magic Valley is Access Yes, where if you apply for the super tags, that money goes to purchasing access onto private property. We print a book every year. We're going to have those at the Cassia County Fair, and we'll be passing them out. We should have them in our offices in the next few weeks, so be ready for that.
Okay.
Get one.
Now, we've talked about the leftover and unclaimed tags, second draw, August 5th through the 15th. We did not mention, and I'm going to go rapid fire through some of these to get them all in, Hunter Education Day Camp, August 16th and 17th.
It's drawing close to the end, folks. If you have not got your Hunter Ed class taken, you've got to get it done quick. We're trying to stack in some classes right here at the end. We've already had 80 classes this year in the Magic Valley. We've got a day camp that we just put online, and what the day camp is, it starts at 9 a.m. and gets over at 4, and it's 2 days only. It's August 16th and 17th, so you can get your kid registered, take them over there, drop them off with a sack lunch. They'll stay there. We'll have instructors there. They can go out, eat in the compound out back. It's compound. Doesn't sound good. We got a picnic area in the trees.
I was just going to correct you on that.
And they can go out there and have their lunch there. And then you can pick them up at 4. They're done with the class in 2 days. There is some other classes online. Get signed up. We also have a Trapper Ed class. If you bought a trapping license after 2011, you have to take Trapper's Education before you can trap this fall. We had such an influx of trappers. The legislature came through and put this rule in that they wanted to have people take this trapping class. So we've got one that's going to be down at Niagara Springs, August 10th and 11th. We got about 12 spaces still left in that class. The last class didn't fill up, but I guarantee come October, November, December, people are going to be thinking about trapping and going, hey, I really want to go trapping, but I didn't take the class. This is your time because, again, a lot of our Trapper Ed instructors are volunteers like our Hunter Ed, and when hunting season and trapping season start, they're out playing that game. They don't have time to teach classes, and we can't get you through as easily, so get those classes signed up.
Okay, real quick, and I'm going to rearrange some of the schedule here real quick. Hunting begins August 1st. What are you talking about?
We got elk tags that open on August 1st, greenfield hunts. So there's lots of hunts that are coming down. I'm just going to run down them quick. We got August 15th, we've got pronghorn antelope that'll be starting for archery. And we've got some deer tags. 55 early velvet hunt will be started then. We've got some other 39 velvet hunt. We've got other hunts that are starting right then. So we're on hunting season's on top of us right now, Zeb, and we're just going to continue adding hunts. through the year, but it kicks off on August 1st.
Can I ask you a question right there?
You bet.
Please. I know I'm going to sound like, I'm picking at it, but aren't we elongating the season too much?
And I agree.
You do?
I do. Oh, you bet. I hate the fact that we have to start hunting seasons on August 1st. There's no reason other than it's really hot and dry in the mountains, and we've got all this green candy in the valley called corn and called alfalfa. And so we start these greenfield hunts in August for hunters to be able to haze these elk off of ag fields. Otherwise, we have huge depredation losses, and the only way we can keep those elk out of there is by doing that. And so that's why we start these greenfield hunts so early. Pronghorn is it's a traditional time to start is on August 15th, and the other hunts are pretty thin. I think it's kind of like we really wanted to help the public have some of the seasons they want, and sometimes we were too open and giving, and I think our season, I would like to see seasons shorter myself, going back to somewhere like October to mid-November, but like they were in the old days. But it's like we said, we've got more and more population. In order to try to make it a quality hunt for everybody, to lessen the number of people on the mountains, controlled hunts, longer seasons like we have really come to play a part in that. But I really wonder, and we've got studies that go that we're trying to monitor herd health with these longer seasons.
Okay.
And so,
okay, now one thing, we've talked a little bit about the pronghorn and a few deer hunts August 15th. We talked about the archery season on August 30th.
Yeah, deer and elk. It opens August 30th as well as forest grouse.
Okay.
Roughies and blues, you can take those with your bows or your shotguns if you want to go up there.
Now, I'm aware of this next topic, but I really think it's more dangerous than what people perceive. The blue-green algae.
It is, and it's terrible. We're having it show up. You go to the DEQ website, they'll tell you the lakes that have blue-green algae. Mormon has it. We've had it in Oakley. We've had it in Roseworth. It's a bacteria that's in there. This spore starts to grow. It's not actually an algae. It'll kill your dog pretty quick.
Really?
If your dog jumps in and swims through that, it can kill the dog within 2 hours.
Within 2 hours?
And so,
wow.
You just any really bright colored, whether it's orange or green, bluish tint in an isolated bay where the wind can't break it up. You need to be really cautious. It can make kids sick, but it's really rough on dogs or adults. Usually, we haven't ever had anything that was fatal from it, but we've had it in almost every lake in the Magic Valley. It's perfect breeding season for it right now because it's hot, stagnant weather, So just be cautious of that.
Now, what are the, prime factors of having this occur? You said it has to be kind of in stagnant water, or what?
It's in slower moving or stagnant water, back in bays and things like that. If you're in a river where the water's moving, you're not probably going to get it because the water temperature is usually a little cooler, but it's once water temperatures start to cool, you get it kind of a layers of water where the water's warm on top, and then it gets cooler at deeper levels. And so, but just be cautious of it. If you're concerned about an area, go to the website and check it out. But I'm pretty hard-pressed to let my dog swim.
Is there any antidote to take or give the dog?
Not that I know of.
Not that you know of. Wow. And they ingest it and...
They get in their nostrils and in their systems when they jump in there. And the other thing is people always talk about for fishing and stuff, as long as you don't eat the skin on the fish or eat the fish raw, you skin them, you clean them, even if you pull it through this stuff, it isn't going to affect you. But you do want to clean the fish well and not eat the skin and the fat and things like that on it.
Okay, let's get right to the new trespass law, and then I'll do a weather forecast. Go ahead.
How long do we have?
You got about 30 seconds. No, I'm kidding. You got about 2 minutes. Go ahead.
2 minutes. Well, there's a new trespass law. Go to grab your new regulation books. It's in there. It's actually, from what I see, I think it's going to make it. I guess the first thing is we'll talk about the big changes in it. If a person is caught trespassing in 3 times in 10 years, it's a felony.
On any property?
On any property.
Okay.
It's a felony after the 3rd time.
What happens? Give us a scenario. I mean, you're a property owner, and all of a sudden you see these guys out there. They're hunting on your private land. You tell them to get off. They act belligerent. They finally leave. They've trespassed, right?
They have. If they walk onto your property...
How do you find out who they are?
You know, the easiest thing to do is call Fish and Game or call the county sheriff. You can call them, they can stop by, or you can get license plate numbers and just be a good witness. Most landowners will just go up, and if I have somebody like that, we just go up and talk to them, say, hey, this is private, we don't want you out there because we've got livestock or whatever. If they don't, we have in the past had to call the county sheriff to have them come. It is then the landowner's responsibility to sign the citation, and it's you that is, or the person that's in charge of that land. It's your duty to go to court and prosecute. You're basically taking the role of the police officer. The big changes that has happened is the posting law. It's still illegal to trespass on irrigated pasture or on cultivated land. However, a lot of CRP, people can't just look at it and say, oh, that's CRP. You have to now post it. It's not every 660 feet, but it's at every gate, stream crossing, and every corner. And we were looking at a few pieces of property, and with the old trespassing law, every 660 feet, they had this one piece of property. It only took 10 marks on posts. With the new one, it takes close to 15 marks on the property because of the way it's stated. It has to be by all navigable streams. It has to be by all gates and on all corner posts. And so... And if it butted up against BLM or Forest Service, it has to be reasonable so that a hunter, if they're walking along, can tell that it's private property. So it may be closer than every 660 feet if it's in timber.
The next thing you're going to tell me is I have to put electronic tape recorders out there to say you're on private property.
It's
getting kind of ridiculous.
Well,
really.
It's tough. It's tough with this. People that have been posting it the way they had in the past will be pretty good, but you're going to have to throw it on. I probably wouldn't change a lot of my posting if I had a piece of ground that wanted posted.
But you said 3 times if a person is arrested or what?
Convicted,
it's a felony.
It's a felony after 3 times.
I've got to get a weather forecast in here real quick. Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. Don Scarrow and the crew, 324-7657, the number to call. Or you can go to their website, scarrowsmeats.com. Oh, my goodness, it's barbecue time. Marinated pork ribs for only $1.99 per pound. They've got all kinds of great barbecue packages available. Check out all the breakfast sausages and the bacon and the bratwurst. Oh, delicious bratwurst for summertime. For Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. You get a hold of them today. Right now, here's Gina with our weather.
The warm temperatures are going to continue for the rest of this week as this high-pressure system sticks around. Here is your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. Expecting sunny skies for today. Winds out of the southeast, right around 7 miles an hour. High of 95, possible triple digits, especially in the lower elevations of the valley. Tonight, clear skies with a low of 60. Tomorrow, sunny skies, high of 91, overnight low of 60. As we head on into the weekend on Friday, sunny skies with a high of 92, overnight low of 62 for Friday night. Saturday, we do have a 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon, mostly sunny skies with a high of 90. That's your weather forecast for Zeb.
Gina, great job. Thank you very much. And brought to you by Scarrows Meats. You can't enjoy summer without a barbecue. My goodness, they've got great meats for your barbecuing. Get a hold of them today. Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. Telephone phone number to call, 324-7657. They are changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. Hey, by the way, don't forget, this is a big weekend. Burley Area Merchants Association, BAMA, with their sidewalk sales this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. My goodness sakes, local merchants helping you. Support your local merchants. Go to the great big sidewalk sales this weekend. BAMA, the Burley Area Merchants Association, get ready for back to school. Yep, that's right around the corner. Or Christmas, all of this and more. Shop till you drop at your Burley Area Merchants Association, BAMA sidewalk sales. Talking about the... No, yeah, go ahead.
Trespassing, sorry.
Yeah.
The easiest thing for like we've been saying for all the years I've been on the show, though, the easiest way for sportsmen to do things right is go talk to the landowner early before the opening day of season. Get a piece of paper signed saying that it's okay for you to be on their property, and if it's not, they'll tell you, and then just find somewhere else. Idaho's 67% public lands. Lots of good opportunity out there. So.
And my side is with the homeowners or the property owners because, if you look out and somebody's traipsing through where you've got your horses or whatever, believe me, I'm going to go ballistic like anybody would.
Yeah, and people need to respect that.
Respect.
A lot of they go, they got all this land, but it's like it's no different than your backyard. Do you want somebody picnicking back there without your permission?
There you go.
No.
Especially you, because I know how you eat.
Well, I just eat a little bit.
Yeah, right.
But I don't eat scraps.
One of the things that you've got on this list is really the truth, and it's 3 simple words for hunting season: get into shape.
Oh.
That's really the truth.
Oh, it is.
And it's also for your horses.
Well, I'm more concerned about your horses than your dogs. If you're silly enough to go out there and kill yourself off, that's your prerogative, but those horses and dogs don't get that chance.
I know people, and I'm ashamed to say this of them, but I think basically they shouldn't be horse owners. They don't touch those horses until they get ready to go hunting.
Well, they throw a pair of shoes on them and then expect them to climb 10,000 vertical feet in an afternoon.
Yeah.
But it'll just be more enjoyable, and your legs won't be so sore from kicking them.
Yeah,
if you've got them into shape, and it'll be better on your pony too.
What about the dogs?
Dogs are the same thing. We have dogs that die of heat exhaustion. And that can happen almost any day, but you just need to haul enough water with your dogs. That's the hardest part about, using your dogs for bear hunting or lion hunting or, bird hunting or any of those. You just need to get your dogs legged up just like...
Oh, no, how do you do that, though? I'm not trying to be facetious. Do you just kind of make arrangements maybe 3-4 times before you go hunting to get them out and let them run a little bit, that type of thing?
When I ran hounds, I ran them almost every day, year-round.
Really?
My bird dogs I run almost every day, year-round. I want them they're in better shape than I am. I walk, they run.
I didn't say anything. You looked at me like I was going to say something.
I'm a shape, it's round. But, I try to keep my dogs...
Put 3 holes in your head and there's a bowling ball.
Bowling ball, there you go. But, it's just like your horse. You just need to get them out and get them. And you will have a lot more fun, too, if you get yourself into shape.
But then the people that go out there, and they're just looking for cardiac city right there, because you've got to do the exercises and get everything ready to go.
Well, they say more heart attacks happen in tree stands in the Midwest than anything else. Because,
seriously?
Well, people aren't in very good shape. They're sitting in a tree stand, deer comes in, they get real excited, their blood pressure goes up, and they fall out of the tree stand. so while they're eating that brat, I guess, I don't know. You're a Midwest boy, so yeah.
I love bratwurst. I can't get enough of them. But really, get in shape. Think of the dogs, think of the horses, and have a better hunt.
You bet.
Yep.
One other thing I wanted to mention is res, non-res tags.
Yeah.
And what these are is on August 1st, we always have a few non-resident tags left over. They've opened those up for the general public to purchase those. Those tags will go on sale August 1st, so if you're interested in buying a second deer tag, they will cost you the amount that it would cost a non-resident. They're non-resident tags, and so you can purchase those. They're not doing a discount on them. I'm guessing they're going to make sure. They're going to discuss it again at this commission meeting this week, but it's over in Idaho Falls. But They haven't for the last couple of years, so I'm guessing that they won't be a discount on them.
Now, I would imagine that the next month is going to be really, really busy for you because you're a spokesperson for the Fish and Game. You're probably going to be sitting in a lot of the fair buildings talking to people.
I am, and so I'll be over at the Cassia County Fair if you want to swing by, probably that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Okay. What about the Minidoka Fair?
You know, we haven't hit that one in the past.
Okay.
We've had the Cap trailer out there before. It's a smaller fair, and we feel like with the Cassia County Fair, we catch most all those people over there too. And it's a time commitment for us.
Okay.
I mean, it's a big time commitment.
And Jerome and Twin Falls.
And the only other one we do is we do the Cassia County, and then we do the Twin Falls County.
What's the most frequently asked question of the Fish and Game when people meet you at these fair offices?
Why don't we have a point system?
Really?
No, I'm joking. But we get that a lot. People complaining about trespassing.
Yeah.
I didn't draw, so back to the points. Number of people on the side of the mountain when I'm up hunting. It just seems like we're getting more and more people. And those are probably the main ones. And then a lot of people are they're just glad to be there and see things. And we're there. We're going to have staff on hand just to answer any questions. So if you want to swing by, we'll be inside the commercial building in Mini-Cassia, and we'll actually, I'm guessing the opening day of that fair, I'll be over here talking to you just before that day.
Good. We'll set that up. Ladies and gentlemen, our thanks to Kelton Hatch and the Idaho Fish and Game. We give him a lot of grief, deservedly so, but we always look forward to having him on every month. Don't forget our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations, telling you that if you're going to go on a road trip, they've got all the tires you need, all the different tread designs, all the sizes, everything for your cars, pickup, SUVs, horse trailers, boat trailers, camp trailers, everything. Stop in, check out your tires today. And don't forget, too, the best in brake service, front end alignment, shocks and struts, batteries, all of this and more, but above all, service to take care of you and get you ready for your road trip. Don't forget to stop in and see Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family and Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. Absolutely the best. Our major sponsor. They've been with us for a long time. They do a great job. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Well, on behalf of Deanne and myself, we want to extend a thank you to Kelton Hatch. He managed to make it over and see us for the month of July. Are you going to be back here next month?
I'm planning on it.
Well, we'll pick the date and get you back.
Sounds good.
Kelton Hatch, Idaho Fish and Game, and right now we'll send it back over to Wheels at our main studio, and we'll see you tomorrow right here on K-Bar, 12:30 a.m., and streaming live all over the world on the internet, zebbell.com. The way things were are the way things ought to be, and remember, the world needs more cowboys. Good morning, everybody.